Well, look at that. All the gems are around the corner from us.
I did a little bit of it. I just have to say, I can fish.
Can you?
I can fish
Really?
well. I have the touch.
Well, there we go. Richards Bay's the place for you to go check out.
It looks amazing. Maybe that's where you want to spend your year-end holiday. You can keep letting us know your thoughts on what your December plans are, what your January plans are. We'd love to know. But also what I'd love to know is I'm interested in taking my pups with me for my end-of-year holiday.
Pet-friendly destinations. That's a big thing.
How do you travel with your pups or your pets in general, I wonder?
Now, our pets are like our family, and when it comes to planning the holidays, your travel plans have got to consider the needs of your furry, four-legged friend. And it may seem like the year-end holidays are a long way away, but planning often takes place months beforehand. And whether you take your pets with you on holiday or you have to make alternative arrangements, it is very, very important that they are well looked after. And so today in studio, we have Marika Ackhurst from Hills Pet Nutrition to talk to us about some of these options and the pros and cons involved, and she's brought along a beautiful, cuddly, furry friend called Sophie. Hi, Marika. Hello, Sophie.
Hi. Sophie also says hi.
Hi. I feel like I'm getting Sophie very excited. She's excited to be on the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I mean,
lovely to be here.
when you have a pet friend like that, you can hardly think of going on holiday without them. But of course, there are other alternatives as well, where families are maybe traveling too far or overseas, where that's not possible. So let's talk about the options that are there when you are making plans for holidays and how you then decide. What options are there?
I think we start off to consider what, how your pet is. Do they like traveling, or do they get a bit anxious in the car? How long are you going to be away? And whether you can find some pet-friendly accommodation where you go. So that's important to know. It needs to be considered.
All right. So let's look at the two schools of thought. For those pet parents who do want to take their pets along with them on vacation, there's a lot to consider. How do you begin planning? Let's talk about the practical steps of making that happen.
I think the first step is to make sure that your pet is completely comfortable in the car, and that your car that you drive has sufficient ventilation over a long period. It's important that you accustom to the process quite slowly.
Okay.
So you're going to go for a drive around the block to start off with, and then you increase the time. You can use something like DAP, which is dog appeasing pheromone, which actually calms them down in the car. It's a spray you can put on, and you can then also make sure that you don't leave open windows so that they hang out of the car. It's not ideal for them to have a body part out of the car, just now they get knocked. And things that you need to consider as well as regular stops to let them out to have some water and to have their bathroom breaks. Also consider that they have something to do in the car, so provide them with some chews, and of course make sure that they're safe in the spot that they are. There's a few mechanisms that you can do. You can either use a kennel or a crate that you put in the car, or there's a seatbelt mechanism that one can use to tie them.
But then also, I'm sure it's very important for you to call ahead of the time. For instance, if you're going to be going to a holiday resort, perhaps you're going to a self-catering accommodation, to find out from those places whether they are pet-friendly.
Absolutely. Pet-friendly, you have to find out. And then also, even if they are pet-friendly, you need to talk to them about what size dogs they allow. So if you have a larger size dog, they might not want that on their property, and also whether they types of breeds that they don't allow, whether there's other pets on the property, so that you know whether if your dog's not friendly towards other pets, then you're not going to consider that. And also there's what facilities there are. So do they provide bowls? Do you have to take your own? Do you need to cover the bedding? What are their requirements from the pet-friendly accommodation?
Absolutely. And that's probably also very important to consider if you are going to be leaving a cute little one like Sophie back at home or at an alternative accommodation. What are the things to consider there?
Most obvious thing that you can consider is obviously a kennel or a cattery for your pets. And I think the most important thing is to find out what do they require from you before you bring them. So do they check on vaccination certificates? What are the specifics? So you have to prepare for that. It's important that they ask for vaccination certificates. You can't go to the vet on your way to the kennel and have your vax. It needs to be done about 2 weeks before you leave. So it's something to plan, as well as kennels and catteries is something you need to plan up front. And of course, another option is to have a house sitter, which, especially if your pets are quite anxious, that's a good option. It's also added security at your home. But I would definitely check references beforehand to make sure that you're not let down at the last minute, and that the service you're paying is the service they're going to deliver. Make sure that you trust your house sitter and maybe meet up with them a couple of times before you actually go that route.
Absolutely. See their interaction with your pet as well, and see how they react to each other.
Absolutely.
And of course, by far the most important rule of all is to ask your pet's permission. So Sophie, are we going on holiday or staying at home?
Sophie, are we going on holiday? Say yes.
Good to have you here. Now, whether you are leaving for a week or a weekend, it is important to always consider your pet's safety and entertainment needs. Or if you can, of course, take them along with you. Like Sophie, who prefers going on holiday. Why not?
Science is at the heart of biology-based nutrition. The secret to lifelong health, it all starts with science.